Hello. In this video we will be calculating values of trigonometric functions on x and y axes, which are called quadrantal angles. We will use the following formulas to calculate them. Sine of theta equals to y out of r, cosine of theta equals to x out of r, and tangent of theta equals to y out of x. We will restrict distance from the origin to 1, which means we will set r equals to 1, which will fall on a unit circle around the origin. In this example, we will calculate trig functions at theta equals to 0 degrees or theta equals to 0 radians. It's the same angle. So a 0-degree angle falls on the x-axis. We need to remember that we are restricting distance from the origin to 1. So from the origin, this distance will be 1, which will make this point x equals to 1, y is 0. Now we can set up our trigonometric functions of theta. Sine of theta is y divided by r. So we have sine theta is equal to 0 equals to y is 0, r is equal to 1. Cosine of theta is x divided by r. So cosine of 0 is equal to x is 1, r is also 1. So cosine of 0 is 1 out of 1. Tangent of theta is equal to y divided by x. So tangent of 0 is equal to y is 0 divided by 1. Now these ratios need simplifying, but before I do so, I want to look for reciprocals. So the reciprocal of sine is cosecant of 0 degrees will be reciprocal of 0 out of 1, which is 1 out of 0. We have 0 in denominator. This will make cosecant of 0 degrees undefined. Cosine of 0 has reciprocal of secant of 0. The reciprocal of 1 out of 1 will be 1 out of 1 again. Tangent has a reciprocal of cotangent. Cotangent of 0 degrees is a reciprocal of 0 out of 1, which will make it into 1 out of 0. And we have another 0 in denominator. This makes cotangent of 0 undefined as well. So let's simplify this a little bit. Sine of 0 is 0 divided by 1, 0. This is our solution for sine of 0. Cosine of 0 is equal to 1 divided by 1, 1. Tangent of 0 is 0 divided by 1. So tangent of 0 is equal to 0. Cosecant of 0 is undefined. Secant of 0 is equal to 1 divided by 1, 1. And cotangent of 0 is also undefined. In this example, we will be calculating trig functions at theta equals to 90 degrees or its equivalent of pi out of 2 radians. 90 degrees falls on the positive y-axis, so around here. Let's say this is 90 degrees or pi out of 2. We need to remember that we are restricting distance from the origin to 1. So if this is 0, this will be equal to 1. This will make this point 0, 1. Now we can calculate our trigonometric functions. So we have sine of theta is equal to y out of r. So sine of 90 degrees is equal to y is 1, r is also 1. So sine of 90 is 1 out of 1. Cosine of theta is x out of r. So cosine of 90 degrees is equal to x is 0, r is 1. Tangent of theta is y out of x. Tangent of 90 degrees is equal to y is 1, x is 0. Now we have a 0 in denominator, so this will make tangent of 90 degrees undefined. Before I simplify these fractions, I'm going to find the reciprocal functions. Sine has a reciprocal of cosecant, so cosecant of 90 degrees will be reciprocal of 1 out of 1, which is 1 out of 1 as well. Cosine has a reciprocal called secant, and secant of 90 degrees will be reciprocal of 0 out of 1, which is 1 out of 0. We have a 0 in denominator, so this will make secant of 90 degrees undefined. Tangent has a reciprocal function of cotangent, and cotangent of 90 degrees will be reciprocal of 1 out of 0, which is 0 out of 1. Now let's simplify this. Sine of 90 is 1 out of 1, so sine of 90 degrees is equal to 1. Cosecant of 90 is 1 out of 1 as well, so cosecant of 90 degrees is also 1. Cosine of 90 is 0 out of 1, so cosine of 90 degrees is equal to 0. Secant of 90 was 1 out of 0, which makes secant of 90 degrees undefined. Tangent of 90 was 1 out of 0, so tangent of 90 degrees is undefined. And cotangent of 90 is 0 out of 1, so cotangent of 90 is equal to 0. In this example, we will be calculating trig functions at theta equals to 180 degrees or at theta equals to pi radians. Angle of 180 degrees falls around here on the negative x-axis. We need to remember that we are restricting distance from the origin to 1, so r equals to 1. This will make x equals to negative 1 here, so this point will be negative 1 for x and 0 for y. Let's calculate our trig functions of theta. Sine of theta is y divided by r, so sine of 180 degrees is equal to y is 0 divided by r, which is equal to 1. Cosine of theta is x divided by r, so cosine of 180 degrees is equal to x is negative 1, r is equal to 1. So cosine of 180 degrees is negative 1 out of 1. Tangent of theta is y divided by x. So tangent of 180 degrees is equal to y is 0, x is equal to 1. Let's find reciprocal functions before we simplify these. Sine has a reciprocal function of cosecant, and cosecant will be reciprocal of 0 out of 1, which is 1 out of 0. We have a 0 in denominator, so this will make cosecant of 180 degrees undefined. Cosine has a reciprocal of secant, and secant of 180 degrees will be reciprocal of negative 1 out of 1, which will give us 1 out of negative 1. Tangent has a reciprocal of cotangent, and cotangent of 180 degrees will be equal to a reciprocal of 0 out of 1, which is 1 out of 0. And we have a 0 in denominator, which will make cotangent of 180 degrees undefined. Let's simplify. We have sine of 180 degrees was 0 out of 1. 0 divided by 1 is 0. Sine of 180 degrees is 0. Cosecant had a 0 in denominator, which makes cosecant of 180 degrees undefined. Cosine of 180 degrees was negative 1 out of 1, which will make cosine of 180 negative 1. Secant of 180 degrees was 1 divided by negative 1, which makes secant of 180 degrees negative 1. Tangent of 180 degrees was 0 divided by 1, which makes tangent of 180 equals to 0. And cotangent of 180 degrees had a 0 in denominator, which makes cotangent of 180 undefined. In this example, we will be calculating trig functions at theta equals to 270 degrees or theta equals to 3 pi out of 2 radians. This angle falls around here on the negative y-axis. We are restricting distance from origin to 1, so this will be negative 1. So this point is x is 0, y is negative 1. So let's set up our trigonometric functions. Sine of theta is y out of r, so sine of 270 degrees is equal to y is negative 1, r is equal to 1. So sine of 270 is negative 1 out of 1. Cosine of theta is x divided by r, so cosine of 270 degrees is equal to x is 0, r is 1, so cosine of 270 is 0 out of 1. Tangent of theta is y divided by x, so tangent of 270 degrees is equal to y is negative 1, x is equal to 0. This has 0 in denominator, which makes it undefined. Before we simplify these fractions, let's find reciprocal functions. Sine has reciprocal of cosecant, and cosecant of 270 degrees will be reciprocal of negative 1 divided by 1, which is 1 divided by negative 1. Cosine has a reciprocal of secant. Secant of 270 degrees will be reciprocal of 0 out of 1, which is equal to 1 out of 0. We have a 0 in denominator, which makes this ratio undefined. And tangent has a reciprocal of cotangent, and cotangent of 270 degrees will be reciprocal of negative 1 out of 0, which is 0 divided by negative 1. So let's simplify. Sine of 270 degrees is equal to negative 1 divided by 1 is negative 1. Cosecant of 270 degrees is equal to 1 divided by negative 1, which is negative 1. Cosine of 270 degrees is 0 out of 1, which is equal to 0. Secant of 270 degrees had a 0 in denominator, which makes it undefined. Tangent of 270 degrees had a 0 in denominator as well, so it's also undefined. And cotangent of 270 degrees has a 0 out of negative 1, which is equal to 0. In this example, we will be calculating trigonometric functions at theta equals to 360 degrees or theta equals to 2 pi radians. 360 degrees falls on the positive x-axis around here. It is a coterminal angle to 0 degrees, which means the angle itself had made one rotation. This is an important concept to understand because when you get to graphing trigonometric functions, you will be looking for 5 specific angle values, which will be at 0 degrees, 90 degrees, 180 degrees, 270 degrees, and to complete one whole rotation, you will get back to 360 degrees. That is one period of sine or cosine function, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 specific points to calculate. So if we restrict r to be equal to 1, the value of this point would be x1, y is 0. So sine of 360 degrees or 2 pi is equal to y out of r, y is 0, r is 1. Cosine of 360 degrees is equal to x out of r, x is 1, r is also 1. Tangent of 360 degrees equals to y divided by x, y is 0, x is 1. Sine has a reciprocal function of cosecant, and cosecant of 360 degrees is a reciprocal of 0 out of 1, which is 1 out of 0. Cosine has a reciprocal of secant, and secant of 360 degrees is reciprocal of 1 out of 1, which is 1 out of 1 as well. And tangent has a reciprocal of cotangent, and cotangent of 360 degrees is equal to 1 out of 0. Let's simplify. Sine of 360 is equal to 0. Cosecant of 360 is undefined. Cosine of 360 degrees is equal to 1. Secant of 360 degrees is also equal to 1. And tangent of 360 degrees is equal to 0. And cotangent of 360 degrees is undefined. That's all.